have a two-part question. So first part is, why do you think it's important for VSA to be part of the Student Diversity Commission and the Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition?
Because not only are we a community in ourselves, not only is VSA involved with VSA alone, we are obviously a part of a bigger community. And like that bigger community, even though it's not just us, we're still underrepresented. And as part of those organizations, we can get the word out. We can be a part of that community and have our say as to what we think and what we believe in. So by being part of those student commission, that type of thing, it can help us not only be what VSA's mission statement is, which includes the whole promote, educate, and preserve aspect of Vietnamese culture, but also what we think as individuals and as leaders ourselves.
My second part to that question is, do you think VSA will be fine without being SDC or having, why or why?
That's an interesting question because on one hand, yes, I believe that even if we weren't part of those groups, we'd still function as a normal, little cultural club. Because we'd have the whole reason that we have CAB is so that we can function as a group. However, I also believe that if we weren't part of these groups, that a lot of the times we would just be blind to what's happening in our community. Because, again, like I said, we wouldn't be looking at things that are not our concern in the first place. We wouldn't know about these other things that we don't know, because we don't know about it, obviously. So I believe yes and no.
Okay, so since the intern program is a big part of the being an IVP, because you're pretty much leading another board, how would you change the intern program from this year that you've seen since you are an intern? And why do you think it's important for IVP to be in charge of the intern program?
Well, I'm going to start with the second part of that question first. I think it's important for the IVP to be in charge of this program because just for the nature of what the position is. The internal vice president is just in charge of that, the internal of the organization. And if the interns are a part of the organization, it's obviously on the you get what I'm saying. But on top of that, it's also how the future of the organization depends so much on those interns and how the future of the board and the future of how things are run are decided by those interns. So I believe the internal vice president has the responsibility, the duty to be a part of that and affect how exactly that's done. And then can you repeat the other side of the question, please?
How would you change the intern program?
Right. If any. I think so far the intern program for this year at least has been just amazing. So, but there have been times where I've felt that the communication between the interns has just been too disconnected. For the longest time, there's no communication between the interns and the coordinators. So I feel like even though it's not a major change, I think the biggest way to affect the output for the interns, how it would affect them, would be to encourage the communication. Not just by having like group chats on Facebook or on GroupMe, but actually have those meetings where we could talk face to face. More meetings, or even less meetings actually, as long as the communication is there. It would change depending on schedules and things like that, but the major key here would be communication, obviously. This is a common theme that I want to that I want to go off of. Other people have talked about communication, and I think communication is